They did it. They finally did it. The ban list has come out August 12th in Japan during the Wave 1 finals. I was up all night watching it, 3 a.m. We finished watching the finals. It was awesome. I plan to do some commentary on those duels, so stay tuned for that. But at the very end, they released the ban list, and here it is. They completely got rid of the law leader and completely got rid of the Ennies lobbies. Now, during these events, they usually show off the upcoming sets and alternate arts, but everyone, including me, especially in the One Piece Discord, you should check it out. There was so many crazy speculation and people hyped up, sharing the stream, watching. It was kind of cool. But yeah, this time the bans were revealed. And why do they ban things in general? Well, it's because it's too oppressive for the overall meta game. Nobody, like, if you want to win, you are usually playing that or something very close to it. It also promotes very little variety. If you want to go in and you're a winner, you're not one of those rogue off meta decks like to just play and have fun, you got to play the good stuff. And also, it's just deemed widely unfair and unfun, which leads to less sales for Bandai in general. So let's go ahead and talk about the two bans today, what has been replacing it, and what are my overall thoughts. And I want to know what you guys think down below after we talk about everything today. What do you guys think about all the bans and everything? So here are the two cards that have been banned: the leader law and the lobby stage. Let's talk about the Ennies lobby stage in general first. So let's go ahead and check it out. 2 cost, once per you activate main, you rest the stage once per turn. If your leader has CP in its type, up to one of your opponent's character, it gets -2 costs during this turn, and also has a trigger where you play this. Okay, so it doesn't seem that crazy, but here's pretty much why it's banned. There's just way too much consistency in cost reduction with this very leader. So if you guys remember what the LUCCI leader does, it does -1 cost for free. Now I do that on free because technically you are paying a cost of -2, but this leader wants cards in there. He wants the cost in there because you need to bring back cards from the trash, either on play with Gecko Moria, or you return them to the bottom of your deck to use Spandine or the LUCCI 4 cost KO or so. Pretty much it's a benefit over a benefits, so that you give somebody -1 cost this turn. It's not when taking a life, it's not, it's when it's hacking. So you can do this every single turn. It's pretty nuts. So it's -1 for free, and then -2 from stage. Every turn, you just do this, and you get -3 on the field. And it's also -5 and -3 if you have the Tempest or Ice Age on the field. Now let's talk about the main KO cards for this deck in general. We have the Brook. Now, if you think about what Ennies Lobby actually enables, if you play this on your first turn, if you're going seconds, next turn you can -3, and then you can drop down the Brook, which does on play -1, then KO a 0 cost. So effectively on your turn 2, you can KO a 3, a 4 cost, and then every turn that he is able to attack, you do the same thing. You don't do any extra cost. You already have your LUCCI leader. You have the stage, which is there's not many good ways to destroy stages that people run in their decks because it's so inconsistent. You have to actually build decks around stages if you want to attack them, which is really dumb right now. And then you have the Brook, which you want to keep him alive, and then you just KO 3, KO 4. Oh, you dropped a 7 cost. Oh yeah, let me just do this plus Ice Age, which is completely fine because you use a lot of cards for that. But you have so much value with just the Brook. Then later on, you have Jack, which is not even a set. Jack, this is my alternate art, which people like to run. This is a 4 cost, so 11, so it counters black itself. However, you rest this, you draw one, trash one, so you're sifting through. Then you KO a 3 or lower. Now remember, if you just have the leader and you just have the stage, once again it's -3, so you KO a 6 every single turn without the extra benefits of Ice Age, Sheepstick, or Helmeppo, or anything like that. And then you have the LUCCI, which is another staple of the game. Here's the alternate art. So with leader and stage on play, you can usually KO around 4 and 3 cost characters, or 5 or 4 2 2 characters with the above mentioned extra cards. So my overall thoughts is I think it makes complete sense why they banned this. It's too much value with this leader. Now this came out in OPO 3, this came out in OPO 7. So this was originally meant for the first Rob LUCCI leader, which has a much different effect. Who didn't have cost reduction when he first came out. There's still a huge problem with this deck overall, and I think the color black in general, which I'll talk about next. But let's go ahead and move over to Law and the banning there, and then we'll go from there. So rip Law. I don't have all my Law cards out. I don't want to take them out for my collection, but here's the leader. So basically, why did they ban Law? Why? Insanely high win rates, and I mentioned overall it just hurts the game variety overall, and especially if you watch a tournament and like 80% of the participants are Rob LUCCIs and their Laws, and then a couple of like Vegapunks or Dofis that you really want to see win, you rooting for the underdog, but it really just hurts the variety. And people like don't want to watch because it's that they don't want to buy stuff because they're just going to go against these kind of decks. Overall, it lowers the sales for Bandai Namco, so it makes sense why they would get something so oppressive. I mean, they banned the Sakazuki leader and then they replaced it with another leader. Okay. So let's talk about this old leader really quick. You get -3 Dawn. You bottom deck a 3 power character. Lots of easy, cheap ways to lower cost. Oh my god, okay, and there's a lot of ways to bring Dawn back up with your Charlotte Pudding, the Black Moria. Let's go ahead and actually show you one of the deck lists. This was the flagship from Japan, first place, from the Dual Guard. So basically, you have Otamas to lower cost, you have Trafalgar Laws, you have 4 Gordons and 4 Raise Maxes, which is 1 cost for -3,000. And then you have Sachi and Penguin to bring your Dawn back up. You have Charlotte Pudding. Some people run Kid. This deck isn't running it. But then you have the newly released Black Maria, which also gives you your Dawn back. It's freaking nuts. You also bottom deck cards, which is a non-KO. So it destroys pretty much 99% of affected cards. Without benefits the opponents. And here's the deal. You don't even have to remove a card. You don't have to remove. It's really hard to read that, huh? You don't even have to remove a card. It says place up to 1 and then play one of your own. So -3 Dawn, you get a bunch of Dawn back thanks to your supporting cards, and then you play a free 4 cost, which in the deck we just saw, there's really good stuff. You have Kidding Killer, which potentially is a 7 drop as soon as it goes down. You have a couple of Roronoa Zoros. You have some Laws to destroy their hand, and you have a freaking Reiju, so you can draw more stuff. It's so good. And you have Sanji's, who's gonna be a 3 cost most of the time. It's just way too good. Okay, so as it was a good deck, but it wasn't that crazy. But as soon as more sets came out, you got more value, such as once again the Sanji and the Black Maria, which some people were like, oh, they should get rid of Black Maria. I think Black Maria is completely fine. She's completely fine. But yeah, you don't even have to remove a character. Blah blah blah. Overall, this is the card and deck was way too good. The ban was inevitable, in my opinion. I mean, they got rid of Whitebeard for a while. They brought him back. They got rid of Sakazuki completely. Brought him back with a promo leader. But I think that the Sakazuki leader is at least still playable. The promo one, I made a couple of deck lists. I posted them in some duels, which we won, because honestly, the deck it's worse, but it's not like as nerfed as they did Law, which we'll talk about right now. But yeah, that leader, the Sakazuki new one, it's still playable because the black, navy, blue it carries that leader amazingly. Okay, so let's talk about the new card. Check this out. I got it printed out here. So I translated this one and printed it out myself. Okay, so here it is, Trafalgar Law. This is promo 86. So the ability is activate main once per turn. Your -3 Dawn, as you know the card is. Send one of your characters, the difference is your character instead of your opponent's character, of 3,000 power or higher. Now, at least you can put Dawn on weaker characters to throw them out, but at the same time, if you don't attack with them or anything, you're getting very low value. Then to the bottom, so your bottom deck and your own cards. then I forgot to highlight these. Everything from here up should have been in bold. Anyway, you play up to 1 4-cost or lower Hot Pirates character from your hand. Oh no! So it went from removing. Oh god, the card is dead on arrival. Just looking at it, there's no good cards to play with this. The Hard Pirate synergy is pretty much non-existent right now with the cards that are released, and because right at the moment they're primarily support cards with no mid to late game cards to run a full Hard Pirates archetype. The leader now not only still removes Dawn, but removes one of your own cards to summon only a Hard Pirate. I would have been okay if maybe they had it like this, but you also summon Supernovas or something as well, because there's not enough variety. It feels like a true overcorrection of this card. The only reason it makes sense to make it this bad is if they plan to release really good Heart Pirates in a future set, which is possibly might happen, because if you guys don't know, in OPO 10 coming out, it's been revealed that they're going to focus on Dressrosa, which Law plays a huge part of. I'm also hoping for a God Usopp leader, but at the moment, I'm going to try to make a deck with this, with the current cards that are out. At the moment of this video, OPO 9 cards. Basically, what I'm thinking of early theory crafting in my head, it would just have to be early game Heart Pirates with this, and then have to be some staples like the Pudding and the Kid or the Black Marias to help you with that Dawn management. And then you would have to play either Straw Hats and Hearts, because you have the at CU Fight Pirates, which grabs Straw Hearts and Kids, and the new OPO 9 Law Searcher, which also grabs Straw Hats or Hearts. But basically, this is, or you could just run straight Hearts, Straw Hats, and Kids, and then spread it out more. But what do you guys think about this? Honestly, at the moment, this is just a bad leader. If you're gonna play red purple and the synergies which I just mentioned, you might as well just play red purple Luffy, which is gonna be nuts in OPO 9 if you guys have seen a lot of those release cards, or just Kid, you know, a little bit of an off meta leader. In conclusion, it's overcorrected. Unless they have major plans for cards, it's just dead on arrival. Well, what could they have done though? Like, honestly, to make it a little bit better, as mentioned, maybe you, instead of a just Heart Pirates, maybe it's Hearts, Kids, and Straws, up to 4. I think that'd be really good, because you're doing your own cards as well, and you have to bottom deck it. I mean, every other card that Law does, it goes back to your hand. They should have done something like that, because it's just really shitty. It's like, I'm like flabbergasted. It's nuts. Okay, so now we talked about the 2 banned cards. Let me talk about what I was hoping would be banned, or at least what I expected to have been banned. So the problem, I think, is the 8-cost Moria. There's a lot of talk about the card is fine, it should not be touched, etc. You guys can have your own opinions, and honestly, I want to know what you guys think about down below. But for me, who plays One Piece weekly, who I make so many decks on this channel, I've made dozens and dozens and dozens of deck profiles and over 100 episodes of duels. I think the Moria, it just has way too much value right now. For example, you are going to be dropping in, like, for example, in the LUCCI deck that's going on right now, if they want to get rid of things that are oppressive and annoying that people don't want to play against, it's freaking Gecko Moria. I love using it, but I hate playing against it. And honestly, it really hurts. It really hurts the game, I think, right now. So you drop him and you get a big body, and you summon 2 characters. What do you usually summon? You get a Rebecca here, active, so it can block, and then you run out a Helm Eppo, a 4 to a 2 cost, so you can you summon Helm Eppo and Rebecca. Rebecca will then summon Spandine, who also summons LUCCI from the trash. So you have 5 characters with 8 costs. Now, you're usually going to have some characters that you're going to be removing, but honestly, you just remove these 2 and you keep these 2 on the field at the end of the day. So basically, for 8 costs, you get 1 AK body, 1 active blocker, 1 3K rested body, and a 4 cost 4K body, 4 cost 6,000 body that KOs a 2 to 1 cost character. But that's before the reductions that you add on with the Ennies Lobby, the leader, and some of your supporting cards. So with the leader and just the stage and the Helm Eppo that you're going to be running, it's a -6 from the board that you can use to KO stuff with Rob LUCCI. Then if you're playing with 9 to 10 Dawn, you have access to Ice Age, and you have access to Tempest Kick, which is a total of 8 more. It's ridiculous. And honestly, if you can see, if you see this being played over and over again in tournaments, and once again, I'll be commentating on the Wave 1 final duel so you guys can see that. It's ridiculous. It's freaking nuts. Now, I think that the fix here to ban the stage, it's good. I think that's a really, really good choice because, as I mentioned, the stage was meant for the first leader, and this one just makes it so good. I think the problem is, though, the Moria combo, and this is one of the best case scenarios to use Gecko Moria, but he is amazing, like simply amazing in a lot of other black decks, and it sucks. It's like, I gotta make a black deck. Okay, we have all these cool late game black cards, but oh no, I gotta run 4 Gecko Morias. God dang it. So I think they should have disrupted this even more. Like, if they didn't want to ban Moria, maybe get rid of Spandine. Or does Moria? I think Moria should have been leader locked from the beginning, or lowered in power to make him more removable. Like 8/9 is nuts. They should have made him an 8/8 because the ability is just way too good. People hate to see it. It's oppressive and it hurts the deck variety. The only reason they kept it in, I think, is because they plan to give a Moria equivalent card to all colors eventually, like, oh, a 7, 8, or 9 that has just as much value or just as good, or you have to run 4 of them because they're that good. If everything is broken, then nothing is broken, right? I'm just worried about the power creep. If that's their plan, that to add like just a bunch of cards to match it, then, you know, Rogue and off meta decks are just completely fucked if they just focus on the meta balance. The meta balance is, you know, the gap is just going to get higher and higher and higher again. It's a tough situation, and who knows? I don't know about Bandai, and you know, you hope that they know what they're doing. I want to know your guys' thoughts on this, the bans in general. What do you think should have been changed that didn't? Was Law too nerfed? And what about Moria? So really quick, I want to mention the Japan and international ban dates. So this is in effect September 1st, so one day after the OPO9 release. You can't use Law, you can't use Enus Lobby anymore, so who knows what the meta is going to be. I assume it's going to be black, purple, and red, purple Luffy at the very top. Rob LUCCI will still be there. Black, yellow Luffy will still be there. And then Law, completely gone. I actually should have pulled up some TCG stuff, to the TCG player, to see the cost go down on the Gordons and stuff. But yeah, I'm really interested in seeing if the black Marshall D. Teach Blackbeard will do anything crazy. But yeah, there's no release official date on the US yet. If anything, you can assume it will also happen when OPO9 drops in US, which is going to be a while from now. So that's it for today. Let me know what you guys think, because wow, it's just not what I expected. It's good and bad in a lot of cases, and I don't know. I feel like it could have been done differently, but you don't know what they're planning in the future. That's just pretty much it. Anyway, those are just my opinions. Let me know yours. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.